Bonjour! Welcome to another episode of Cuisine de Michelle. I'm Michelle, although I'm not in my cuisine in this moment. I'm actually in my mother's cuisine, so if you watched yesterday's episode, or I should say last night's, because it got posted really late due to differences in our connection here. Anyway, so apologize that it was a little later than we usually post, but today I'm starting this actually the night before, so this is an overnight recipe. These are overnight bread machine cinnamon rolls. And so it's really nice. You're going to just put all these ingredients in the machine. You're going to let it run on the dough cycle. You're going to put together the cinnamon rolls, let them rise overnight, and then you'll have them ready to pop in the oven in the morning. So that's what we're doing right here. So we can have, at our house, we're going to have these for Christmas morning. So over here, I have the bread machine. I say hopper. It's probably not the right word, but it's the thing that goes inside of here to mix in. So bread machine mixing bowl, I guess you could call it that too. So we're going to be putting in, first off, a cup of milk. And this cup of milk has been heated in the microwave to about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I have some water. I'm going to be putting in a quarter cup. It's also been heated to the 110. Now, if your machine tells you to put it in a different order, you can do that. This machine says to add the liquids first before we add anything else, so that's why I'm putting in anything that's liquid first. We need a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we're going to use a half cup, which is 1 stick, of salted butter, which should be at room temperature. Then we're going to put in a ½ teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of regular sugar, and then this is bread flour. It's 5 cups or 600 grams. And last is 1 tablespoon of bread machine yeast, which is highly active yeast, if you will. So once you have all those in, you don't have to mix them or anything because the machine's going to do that work for you. We're just going to put this in here. Make sure that we lock it in place. We're going to set it for the dough cycle, which on ours is 1.5 hours. I think most machines, that's pretty standard. And we'll see you once that dough's ready. Okay, so the dough has finished, so pour it out onto a surface where you have, like I've lined this with some freezer paper. You don't have to. And we sprayed the surface with some non-stick cooking spray. And what you're going to do is this, it says to shape it in an oval. It kind of already is in an oval, but make sure your work surface is fairly large because you're going to be rolling it out into a big rectangle. But before you do that, it says to cover it with plastic wrap and let it rest for 10 minutes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is roll out the dough until it reaches a 15 by 24 rectangle. Okay, so this is measuring 15 inches by 24 inches approximately. It's not exact. So what you're going to do next is you're going to take a stick of, I think this could be salted or unsalted butter. I'm using salted just because that's what I've got right here. But you need it softened enough so that it's spreadable. This is not the whole stick, obviously, but you're going to want to spread that onto your rolled out dough. And if you can't get it to roll, I actually just ended up patting it out because it was easier that way. So I wanted you to be aware of that. Okay, so now I've got the butter all spread on here. we're going to be putting a mixture of brown sugar and cinnamon. This is 1 cup of brown sugar mixed with 5 tablespoons of cinnamon. You're going to be spreading that all over your dough as evenly as possible. All right, so now we're going to be rolling it up. You start with the long edge. You want to make your roll, but don't do it overly tightly. Do not worry if it's perfect or anything like that, but if you roll it too tightly, your centers are going to pop up whenever you go to have the rolls. Once you have this rolled, you're going to take a butter knife and you're going to be marking it in 1.5 inch increments. Okay, for this next part, you're going to put some unflavored cinnamon floss or unflavored dental floss here at each one of these little marks. You just go one at a time, and you basically do that and draw the string. And this is how you slice. It's much easier to get a slice this way. See that? You get a slice. The other thing I want to tell you right now is that you're going to need a 9x13 glass pan. You're going to want that buttered, and then you'll be placing each one of these rolls that you make into that pan. Now, normally you should end up with 12, but our rolls seem to get a little longer as we did, so we ended up with actually 15 when we cut these up. You're going to cover this with plastic wrap, and then you're going to place it in the fridge overnight to raise. All right, so this is what these look like this morning. We've let them rest in the refrigerator overnight. Now we're going to turn on the oven to 350 degrees and bake them for around 45 minutes. Okay, so we are now going to make the icing part. Here in the stand mixer bowl, I've got 3 cups of powdered sugar, 3 tablespoons of salted butter that I've melted, and then a little splash of vanilla. And to that, I don't have a set amount to put for the milk, so I'm just going to put in a little bit like that, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so you can see that the cinnamon rolls are all baked. I did let them rest a little bit because I don't want the icing to totally melt when I put on. But then, of course, just like one would, we're going to spread some icing over the top of them. And then I will see you at final plating. All right, so here we are at final plating. So you can see there's the frosted cinnamon rolls. That's what it looks like when one is cut out. And here's our one that I cut out. You can see it looks gorgeous. And I'll go ahead and give it a taste test here on camera, even though I know these are fabulous. I've made them before. Very, very good. So, thank you for joining me for another episode of Cuisine Michelle. Please be sure to like and share, subscribe, leave me a comment, and I hope you're having a wonderful Christmas and holiday. We'll see you again soon. Au revoir.